Okay, Alicia, we've got all the information of what federally we can do, what provincially we can apply for, but we still have responsibility to create and lead our own lives. What can we do right now to be proactive financially?
So I have a lot of people coming to ask me these questions because suddenly they've realized that money doesn't always flow. And all of us were kind of at an economic standstill. And so this is a very weird thing for many of us. This may be the first time it's ever happened in our lives. And so this is an opportunity to learn and to get better, I think. So I have a few steps that I recommend to a lot of people. And it starts with just looking at it emotionally as sort of an economic reset. So right now we're in new territory, and our past behaviors and the way we would spend and earn we can't rely on that anymore. So we have to develop a new system for this new world that we're in. But that's an opportunity to be better at money too. So I think that's the way we have to look at it. So the first thing I tell people is to find out kind of what is all the money coming in. And if you're part of a family unit and you guys are working together financially, then find out and help your, whether it's your aging parents or different relatives that might not know how to navigate the system, help them to identify what they're eligible for, what they can do, because you're actually increasing the family's net and strength at that time, right? And that's really important. So don't just think about yourself, because guess what? When your family member needs help next month, they'll be calling you. So might as well get everybody,
Yes,
get everybody on track together
absolutely.
and kind of make this as much as possible a family activity. There's a couple of really easy, quick steps. So one of them, which we've mentioned in another video, is if possible, set up your MyCRA online account and your My Service Canada online account. So there are two accounts that you use to get tax information and some tax payment benefits. And then also My Service gives you other benefit payments. So if you're getting Canada Child benefit, things like that, that will come through that account. So if you already have it, great. If you don't have it, set it up and make sure the direct deposit information is set up on both of those. Then, as we've mentioned before, again, even though there is a deadline extension on filing your taxes, it's important, if possible, to still file them on time. And this is especially true if you're somebody who's getting benefit payments from the government. So whether it's GST credits or Canada Child benefit, any kind of money that you're getting from the government, you want to make sure you're filing your taxes on time so that you get that money on time. And also, why delay it if it's going to cause you stress, right?
Exactly.
And so that's one. Definitely, while you're applying and waiting for federal benefits, such as EI and the new emergency relief benefit, I think, the CERB, check what else you've got going on in your province. So we talked about the ones in Alberta. There are some in BC, in Ontario that are coming out. And not just benefits, but also check what else is going on in terms of, are there rent freezes? So I know BC has a rule right now where you can't increase rents on anyone. Ontario has a rule where you cannot evict anybody right now. Different provinces are coming out with different things. Alberta and specifically Calgary have a break on your utilities, so you don't have to pay utility bills necessarily right away. And that's a huge advantage if you're stuck for money right now and you're waiting for those benefits to start. So keep looking at what's out there. The next one I tell everyone is to try and redo your budget. So if you're somebody who already has a budget, that's great. Take that and just try to modify it for the new times. But if you've never done a budget before, and don't worry, most of us are in that category, it's not as scary as it looks. So you can either set up an app if you want, and there's some cool ones. There's one called YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. That one helps you. There's one called Well Spent, which helps you to look at the reason behind each purchase you make. But honestly, what I tell everybody is just look at your credit card statements and your bank statements over the last 3 months. And if you can, print them out. And then just take 3 different colored highlighters. And in one color, you do your fixed expenses. So that's like your rent, maybe insurance payments that you have, things that can't change. And then in another color, you do variable expenses. So maybe things that can change based on your circumstance. So for example, if you were paying for a transit pass and you don't need one anymore, that's a variable expense you can change. And then lastly, things that are unnecessary expenses. So fun stuff, toys, makeup, clothes, just things that are for fun, entertainment, eating out. We're not doing that anymore.
I actually have a family member who've because they're not using one of their vehicles at all, they put it on parking insurance. So that's a way to also maybe reduce that in your budget.
Exactly. And then the key is, and this takes only 1 hour, honestly. It's not scary, but you just go through once you've highlighted them. So you look at the ones that are fixed and you see, so for example, insurance, right? Sounds like something fixed, and you see what of this can I reduce? So can I renegotiate an insurance? Can I talk to my landlord and maybe get a break on rent for a few months? What does that look like? Can I, if I have a mortgage or condo fees, can I talk to my condo board and see what can I change? So what can you change of your fixed ones? For your variable expenses, identify as much as possible what can change, but also what can just be eliminated, right? And then finally, for your unnecessary, do your best to just eliminate them. Right now, we're all at home. We don't need to spend money to do anything. We've got our entertainment around us. As long as you keep your Netflix, you're probably okay. And that's a really important one. And I have a couple of others as well. If you're really looking to be proactive, and we've seen this trend grow a lot over the past week and a half, is we're realizing now that our money doesn't last forever and our health doesn't last forever, right? There's nothing more true in the time of COVID-19 than our fears of health. And so you should have a plan with your family in place on what happens if somebody passes away. And it's a scary thought, but it's an important one to consider, and to have a family plan and to make sure everybody knows what steps to take. And so that includes everybody who has a will and where their will is located. And if you don't have one, how to create one. It also includes insurance. So do you have life insurance? Do you, maybe you want to consider disability insurance now because you've realized what happens when you don't have income, right? And although these are expenses, these are important ones. I always say with insurance that there's a lot of things, you may never use it, but there's a lot of things we buy that we don't use or that don't give us that much value at the end of the day. If you eat a McDonald's meal, you're going to be done with it in an hour. So of all the things that we don't necessarily need, I would say insurance is one of the most important. So try to get that set up for yourself, and then also just get yourselves organized financially. Does everybody in the family know what to do in case something happened to you? Do they know where your legal documents are? Do they know where everything is? All the logins for the correct accounts, all that stuff, just where all the money is. Like, you need to know, and especially if you're cross-border or you have family members in other places, it becomes more important. So this is a time to get all of that done, and we have a lot of resources to help you if you want to do that.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. So Alicia from All True Wisdom I'm going to put the website on everything, wherever I post, just look at the comments. And their platform is amazing. It's really helpful to find all of the resources in adulting. And there's, answers to common questions that you don't really ask anyone. So even you're thinking about them and then you see them written and you're like, oh yes, how do I do this? So it's really, really a good resource. So go check it out. I'm going to post the website just in the comments here.
Thanks so much. And we have this month, it's free. So Don't worry, just come, everyone use it. We're trying to help out as many Canadians as possible.
Beautiful. Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll be back if we have any other updates, which I'm sure we will.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye.